Natalie Wood, Hollywood's golden girl, captivated the world with her charm, talent and beauty. For decades, her death was labelled a tragic accident. She supposedly fell overboard one dark November night in 1981. But new accounts and resurfaced evidence suggest that the story was far from simple. Beneath the glamour, there were secrets, silences and tensions that Hollywood preferred to bury. Natalie's life and death exposed the darker side of stardom, fear, control and power dynamics that trapped her from childhood to her final moments. Understanding her story reveals not just a tragedy, but a cautionary tale. The night of the tragedy. On November 29th, 1981, 43-year-old Natalie Wood's body was found off Catalina Island, dressed in a flannel nightgown, down jacket and wool socks. She had been aboard the yacht, Splendor, with her husband, Robert Wagner, co-star Christopher Walken, and Captain Dennis Davin. What began as a Thanksgiving weekend getaway quickly turned into a night of confusion and danger. Witnesses later recalled her cries for help, the sound of fear and desperation, and the delayed response that ultimately cost her life. The circumstances raised questions about whether her death was truly accidental or something far darker. The crew and the yacht Natalie, Wagner, Walken and Davin left Marina del Rey on November 27th and anchored near Avalon. Despite rough weather, cold winds, rain and high waves, Wagner moved the yacht to 2 harbours for privacy. That night, the group dined ashore, laughing and drinking heavily. Returning to the yacht, tensions rose. Wagner reportedly became jealous of Walken's encouragement of Natalie's career. Arguments escalated, culminating in violence witnessed by Davin. Sometime after 11 p.m, silence fell. A nearby boater heard Natalie crying for help across the water for 15 minutes, followed by a man's calm response and then silence, delayed rescue. Despite repeated cries for help, no immediate action was taken. It took over 4 hours for anyone to call for assistance. The Coast Guard arrived at 5:11 a.m, but Natalie was already gone. Her body floated a mile from the yacht, while the dinghy, Prince Valiant, remained beached, untied but unused. Wagner claimed she had slipped while securing it, but friends and family found this impossible. Natalie had a lifelong fear of dark water and avoided swimming or boating alone. Psychic warnings from her mother and her own instinctive caution made such a scenario highly unlikely. Early life and Hollywood pressure. Natalia Nikolaevna Zakharenko, born July 20th, 1938 in San Francisco to Russian immigrants Maria and Nikolai, was destined for stardom early. Her mother saw fame as their ticket out of poverty, moulding Natalie into a child star. At age 4, she appeared in a small film role and quickly rose to prominence, starring alongside Orson Welles in Tomorrow is Forever. Her childhood, however, was rife with pressure and emotional manipulation, including a traumatic moment where her mother forced her to cry on cue. By age 9, she was a Hollywood fixture, balancing grueling work schedules with rigorous schooling. Rise to stardom. Natalie's teenage years transformed her into a leading lady. Her breakout role in Rebel Without a Cause with James Dean earned her critical acclaim and an Oscar nomination. Fame brought recognition, but also confusion and vulnerability. During filming, she entered a relationship with director Nicholas Ray, nearly 3 times her age. The experience revealed early lessons about Hollywood's exploitation, shaping her understanding of power, control, and vulnerability. The industry valued her image over her well-being, and Natalie learned to navigate fame while suppressing her own voice, a pattern that would follow her throughout her life and influence her tragic end. Marriage to Robert Wagner. Natalie married Robert Wagner in 1957, fulfilling a childhood wish. Their union was glamorous and widely admired, casting them as Hollywood's golden couple. Yet beneath the perfection, cracks appeared. While Natalie's career flourished with accolades and major roles, Wagner's stagnated, fueling subtle jealousy. Rumours of infidelity and tension led to divorce in 1962, leaving Natalie heartbroken at 24. Her relationships, like her career, were marked by imbalance and control dynamics. Even her second marriage to producer Richard Gregson ended in betrayal. Wagner returned to her life in 1972, but the history of jealousy and secrecy foreshadowed the tension aboard Splendor. Secrets, fear, and silence. Natalie's life was shaped by early trauma, manipulation, and public scrutiny. On the night she returned home from the Chateau Marmont Hotel, she was visibly shaken. She confided to her mother about an incident involving Wagner, who had caused her harm. Yet the fear of speaking out in Hollywood's culture of silence kept her quiet. The pattern of secrecy continued through her life. Abuse, betrayal, and control were hidden behind a facade of perfection. Her ambition, charm, and meticulous control over her career masked a profound need to survive in an industry that often punished honesty and vulnerability. The fear of water. Natalie's fear of deep water was well known. It was tied to childhood warnings from a psychic and reinforced by traumatic experiences. Friends recalled that she would never swim alone or board small boats without trusted companions. Her fear was not mere superstition. It symbolised the danger of losing control, being trapped and going unheard. Tragically, that fear played out on Splendor. Witnesses reported her screams for help lasting 15 minutes, unanswered except for a man's distant, "Okay, honey?" The fear that haunted her life became the reality of her final moments, underscoring the vulnerability she carried from childhood to adulthood. Hollywood's dark side. Natalie Wood's story is a stark reminder of Hollywood's darker realities. Studio contracts controlled her image, directors blurred personal and professional boundaries, and public scrutiny left little room for autonomy. Every role, from Splendor in the Grass to West Side Story, mirrored the emotional pressures she endured off-screen. Fame demanded perfection while erasing individuality. In her death, the same forces, silence, neglect, and power imbalance, played a role. The tragic events on Splendor were not isolated. They reflected patterns of control and secrecy that haunted her entire life. The mystery remains. Despite decades of investigation, the full truth of Natalie Wood's death may never be known. Some witnesses have come forward and old files have resurfaced, but questions remain. Was it a tragic accident or was something more sinister at play? The evidence and testimonies hint at fear, conflict, and inaction. Whether intentional or the result of negligence, the tragedy highlights how easily truth can be obscured in a world that prizes appearance over reality. Natalie's story endures as a cautionary tale about fame, silence, and the dangers of unspoken abuse. Legacy and reflection for the world. Natalie Wood remains an icon of Hollywood glamour, talent, and grace. For those who knew her story, she's also a symbol of silence, fear, and the cost of living under control. Her life and death remind us how easily danger can be ignored and how the voices of the vulnerable can be drowned out. Beyond her movies and accolades, Natalie's legacy is a call to confront uncomfortable truths, honour those silenced, and acknowledge the human costs behind the glittering surface of fame. Her story, tragic and compelling, deserves remembrance. Conclusion: Natalie Wood's death was more than an accident. It was the culmination of a lifetime shaped by fear, secrecy, and manipulation. From her demanding childhood to the pressures of stardom, her life reflected the struggles of surviving in an unforgiving industry. The mystery of that November night continues to provoke questions, debates, and reflections about accountability and human empathy. Her life remains a testament to brilliance, shadowed by trauma and the enduring consequences of silence. Remembering Natalie is not just about honouring a star, but recognising the hidden stories behind Hollywood's brightest lights.